Jessica Doolan here on the Kindness Revolution morning show. I'm your host Gizzo, and over there is Francesca, and we are joined by Justin from Free Under Fire. How are you doing today?
Hey, good guys. How are you doing?
Doing great.
Yeah, doing well, thanks. Congratulations. Thanks for being the first feature artist live on the Kindness Revolution morning show. Very exciting.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
And, as I said to you in the message on Discord, I mean, you had so many dates to choose from.
Yeah.
But you chose the first possible available date, because obviously I set it up where there's a window, and people booked their interviews and stuff further and further away. And I get people have their schedules, but I like your attitude of, this is the first possible chance I get to do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna promote myself. I'm gonna get out there, and that's the can-do attitude.
I looked in August, but it was all busy, so yeah. I guess I went with the next available date.
Yeah, I think it's a little busy over there. Okay, well, let's get to know you. I think that's the best way. Let's start sort of right at the beginning. How would you say your childhood environment sort of influenced your musical interests? Like, were any of your parents like musical, or is this something new to the family, as it were?
Yeah, no, I mean, my dad was my dad can tune a guitar just by strumming it. He's one of those guys where he just has that talent, and I think it passed down. And there was always music playing, in our household. There was MTV before MTV did, reality shows. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, when they actually had music videos, right?
Yeah, when it was actually music television, and they always had music playing, and the TV was pretty much always on. So it was everything from the Who and the Beatles to all the stuff from the '90s, REM, that kind of thing. So it was always kind of playing, even if you weren't paying attention to it. It was always sort of in the background, right? So that was sort of, as far as the childhood's concerned, it was always like on a subconscious level there, right? Now, as far as musicians, I mean, like my dad, again, he's musically talented. He can play a variety of instruments. He can play like 2 songs on each, but he wasn't necessarily a musician. But the probably somewhere down the line in the genealogy, there was someone at some point who played some instrument or something, I'm sure, but.
Yeah, it's that genetic memory they talk of, right? Carries down. Apparently, then in my family, someone somewhere must have been a court jester, because I'm a bit of a clown, but it's okay. I like to entertain.
Well, the court jester is the only guy who can really tell the truth to the king, right? So it's it's a good thing.
Ah, we have another history buff in your midst, Francesca.
A lot of history talk today.
Oh yeah. Here we go. Discovering the deepest truth about yourself. Okay, well, influences. Do you have a specific song or artist that profoundly impacted you?
There's several, right? Like, it really depends on which age you're talking about. I took, basically, when you're a musician, you basically take a little bit of everybody else's stuff. That's sort of what they call, when they talk about influences, that's really what they mean. They take a little bit of everybody else's. So like I started when I was 13, I started with the hard rock thing, the typical AC/DC, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, that kind of thing.
Oh, nice.
But as I got older, I sort of traced the like where does that music come from, that kind of thing, right? So it was like all blues music. It was Robert Johnson and Blind Willie Johnson, that kind of thing. So then I learned that, and as I started listening to this music, I sort of tried to emulate it on guitar. Okay, here's where the note is, and it was like a slow, tedious process. But that's kind of the way it has to be when you're learning an instrument, right? And then as I got towards adulthood, I it was like classical music, basically everything, classical music, EDM, all that stuff kind of put together. And again, you take, like when you're a musician, you take a little bit of each, even if it's like, oh, I don't do that. You know what I mean? Sometimes the influence is just, okay, maybe I shouldn't do that. So it's a little bit, taking a little bit of everybody's sort of thing and sort of trying to make it your own. And that's really what an influence is, right? It's like 30 artists together, 50 artists together. Yeah.
Nice.
That's interesting.
Were there any other particular artists that profoundly like impacted you or inspired you?
You know what? I'm gonna be really, really stereotypical in here and say the Beatles, because the Beatles were the Beatles, definitely the Beatles, and definitely like the later Beatles, not like the early "She Loves You" stuff. That stuff's cool too, but the later, the later 1967 to 1970 kind of Beatles. It was just like eye-opening music. You know what I mean? Because what they did was they really messed with structure, right? Like if you had a song, it wasn't just verse, chorus, bridge, end, right? It was like they'll do
Stylized.
whatever. Yeah, exactly. Like whatever the LSD was telling them to do, that's what they did, right? So it's like they put it together in such interesting ways. And that was like sort of eye-opening, right? Because before that, everything you heard on the radio was, verse, chorus, and it was like 3-4 minute songs, and the Beatles had these like, crazy like combinations of different genres together that were like 6-7 minutes. It was really, really eye-opening. Other influences, I mean, again, it's gonna sound typical, but the Led Zeppelins, the Black Sabbaths, the Who, love the Who, the Police. If you got into the 80s, Van Halen, that kind of thing, right? I never liked
Creedence Clearwater. They're my favorite.
CCR, amazing. Yeah, what a great band. Yeah, and they couldn't stay together. That's the funny thing. They couldn't stay together because they just there was like internal conflict between the guys, and it's always painful to see that. It's like when you can't just make it happen for the music.
It's interesting that like boy bands, like bands, Radio Boys, they end up having more sort of bigger splits. Well, what was it when Zayn left One Direction? It was a big thing. Yeah. Whereas like when I don't know, Fergie left the Black Eyed Peas, it was like, oh, Fergie's left the Black Eyed Peas, and there really wasn't sort of a thing about it. It's very, very odd.
That's difficult when you think about it. To have a group of like 5 people, of course someone's gonna leave at some point.
Yeah, there's all sorts of personalities, and you know the way it is. It's like, or like in the case of NSYNC, it's one guy who's obviously the lead singer, and the other guy's not to like knock him or something, but they're like, they have different capabilities. Maybe they're backup singers to some degree, right? And Justin Timberlake probably realized that. He's like, I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm going to go be a solo artist, right?
Well, that's the thing with Justin Timberlake. He's not just an artist. He's a performer. Like he's what back in the day in Hollywood they would sort of call a triple threat. He can act, he can dance, he can sing.
Yes, he can do it all. Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Well, speaking of all of these people who've inspired you, perhaps it's time we play some of your music, right?
Sure.
This one is, I think, my favorite at the moment, but that probably will change. Airplane over Texas. We're joined by Justin from Free Under Fire. TKR Spotlight, featured artist of the day, sponsored by Toronto Musicians Hub. We'll be back after this. Free Under Fire. TKR Spotlight feature artist of the day. That was Airplane over Texas, and we are joined by Justin.
Hello, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Nice to meet you again. I just thought it would be a great conversation to talk about a little bit more behind the scenes of the creative process, a little bit more behind the scenes of your inspiration in the recording studio. So like, how do you typically start the songwriting process? Do you have like any particular style or like ritual or like way of thinking that you kind of get your head in that space?
It always changes, right? Like, and sort of, sometimes you'll start with a word, and then it becomes a phrase, and it becomes like a paragraph, and then you'll sort of build around the lyrics. Sometimes you'll have a couple of notes, and you put it together, and you have to sort of form a whole melody, and then you'll have to build chords underneath it. Sometimes you hear chords. Sometimes you hear like a street lamp make a certain sound, and it's sort of like, oh, it registers in your head, like, oh, okay, that's an interesting sound. Let's see if I can do that on guitar. That kind of thing, right? So it's always different. So like I can't, people always, that's like a common question. It's like, well, how do you write songs? It's like it just sort of happens. It's an intuitive process, right? It's not really the kind of thing that you sit down and like I've never been able to just sit down and go, okay, I'm going to write a song now. That's not really how it works. It always just goes on subconsciously. You'll like walk around, you like do the dishes or something. You like work. And you'll hear in your head, hopefully, I mean, if everything's going right, you'll hear, like the rest of the pieces of the song, right? The chords, the melody, whatever you're missing, whatever you have, you try to look for whatever's missing. So
I like that.
Yeah, it's an intuitive process, really.
So you like kind of pay attention, and I like that because I'm also like to be really in tune and try to like relate things. So like, because I'm more on the visual artist side, so like. Tattooing and something is definitely something that's always been of interest to me. Cool. Like picking up on like, things that are just there in the environment. Sounds like you said, the wind. Like, is there any way to relate the sound of the wind or the sound of the ocean to the guitar strings and things like that? I can understand that. That's really cool.
Yeah, because all those things are notes, basically, right? Like the wind is a note, the street lamp is a note. So it's just like. And it has a certain tone. It's it's like everything's a sound, right?
Yeah, I really like that. So like honing in on something and somehow finding, I guess, a relationship between what that sound is and what it could mean, right? Like a wind is just wind, but if you make a connection to it in some way and you want to somehow make it about a breakup song or something, like it can happen however you want. I love that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Very
All right. I mean, are you able to share any little bit of story about the creation of any one of your songs in particular?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about Airplane Over Texas. So that started as a riff, because that's the one that you played a couple of minutes ago. It started as a riff, just like a riff in like A minor, and then it just sat there, right? Like sometimes songs just they don't fully manifest themselves. So it just sat there for a very long time. And then years later, I came back to it, and that riff just sort of made sense. And you hear the other progression, you hear the verses and whatever else. And also, everything has a sound. And then you sort of like, I think you sort of alluded to this, Francesca, but everything sort of it has a lyrical content, right? Like the chords underneath or the melody or something will suggest a lyrical content. And Airplane Over Texas in particular is about just being on the beach, having a great day. And you're sort of, all your troubles are sort of lifted away, your anxieties sort of lifted away. You're like present completely in the moment. And so I sort of try to encapsulate that in a song format. So in particular, that song, that's really what it's about. If you look at the lyrics, they sort of allude to that, right?
Wow. Okay. I mean, that's interesting what you say, how a song is not really like, because I think about that, like you just like have a certain time space, like, okay, it's 9 a.m, this is when I do it. But I don't think, and I'm an artist myself, I should be not even questioning this, but like it doesn't quite happen that way. It's kind of like just happens, right?
Yeah, it kind of just happens. I mean, that's sort of the like boring answer to it. It's like it just sort of happens, right? It kind of like it either happens or it doesn't. Right? Intuitively, it's just you either put it together or not, right? the hard part of songwriting is really just taking the musical element and making the lyrics sort of fit the musical element. And if they two kind of go together, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
If the two have to sort of go together, right? Because you can't have like a death metal song about like a day at the beach, right? So it has to sort of coalesce, right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Well, it's interesting you say that.
No, I was just thinking. Oh, is Gizmo interrupting with? Is there a song?
Oh yeah, no, it was interesting. He says
Gizmo,
that the death metal, and it actually touches on something you said about the Beatles, one of the topics coming up later today about sort of AI and streaming. Have you had a chance to look at the AI? Because there have been some songs that do blend really weird concepts, and it's absolutely hysterical.
Yeah, it is funny. It is really, really funny. Or they'll do like a parody version of an existing song, a pop song. Very, very funny. Yeah. It is really funny. And honestly, it's, I heard on this radio station, I don't remember the radio station, a long time ago, they were playing a Bach piece, right? And they were playing a Bach piece, so like a real Bach piece, one that Bach wrote, and then a piece that was made by AI to emulate Bach. And dude, I got to tell you, it was like so similar that you almost couldn't tell the difference, right? The AI one was more like, like robotic, formulaic, whatever. But they were close, and AI is close. It's a scary thought. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is a little terrifying when you look at it, because after a while, it's like, well, some of it's really. Like, I've listened to some, and it's actually really good, and I find myself enjoying it as much as a real artist. And I'm like, is that wrong? I mean, music's music to a degree, right?
Sure. Yeah. You like what you like, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell us a little about Could Have Really Had, the next song we're throwing up?
Basically, this song is just a typical rock and roll song, right? So it centers around, basically, I mean, with I'm just gonna be blunt about it. It's basically around sex, right? The entire song revolves around sex. If you look at the lyrics, it's all basically sexual, and that's sort of rooted in the whole rock and roll thing. I mean, rock and roll.
Were you in the mood when you were making the song? What's going on?
You can't really be in the mood and sort of write the song, but it's sort of about that idea, right? Because like the songs are like they try to encapsulate an idea. That's sort of the general idea. Like if you read the lyrics, that's what it's about, right?
Well, I guess you could have really had, right? Well, that's the thing. He could have really had, but he ended up writing a song instead. This is Free Under Fire here on the Kindness Revolution Morning Show. We'll be back after this.
She
yeah, could have really had. Oh, that's a tongue twister for me. Free Under Fire. Yeah. Here on the Kindness Revolution Morning Show. I'm Gizmo. Over there's Francesca, and we are joined by Justin. Now, here's a question that I should probably ask. What position are you? That's probably a terrible thing to say after a song about sex. My apologies, and I haven't even bought you a drink.
I'm assuming you mean instrumentally. What position?
Yes,
I play guitar. Yeah.
Okay, so good finger work then. Perfect.
I didn't think like that. I'm sorry.
Genius.
This is devolving quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean it's radio with me. You should have heard the Christmas Day show. That was quite high strung. I think that's the best way of putting it.
You guys are already at third base over here.
Well, yeah, we'll sign in the morning. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't have time. We've got to go quickly. You've got to get to work. Don't get stuck in traffic. Oh, that's funny. So, artistic challenges, while I try and think of the other question that I was going to ask.
Sure.
What's sort of one of the most challenging experiences in the development of your album? Because the music we're listening to comes from the Free Under Fire album. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's self-titled. Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Makes it easier for me to remember. So yeah, like, were there any sort of big challenges? Like, was there a certain part of this that stood out to you over other parts?
Every part of making an album is hard, man. It's like you got to put. So for that record, we had more songs than we actually needed on the record. So it was a matter of like choosing our 9 best songs, and then you got to sort of figure it out. I'm the kind of guy who plans everything, right? So going into the studio, before we went into the studio, the month before, I sort of wrote down where all the overdubs are going to be. Like, here's a guitar part, here's a vocal harmony, that kind of thing. And I wrote a demo. I have this like really weird thing where I'll write them. I'll take like 2 whole days and I'll write them on little like cue cards, and I'll bring them into the studio, and then we'll do it. We'll sort of separate it by instrument, to make it easier, more efficient, and we'll do it. And I'll tear up the cue card and I'll just throw it away. It just gives me like a sort of like crossing the thing off the checklist kind of thing. And that's hard because it's like you have to keep track of all this stuff. You're in the studio, that every minute is costing you money. You know what I mean? So it's all sort of working against you the entire time you're making a record. But then when you have the record, you're like, that was worth it. Despite all the hard stuff. I almost said a bad word. All of the hard stuff you go through, you sort of, it's worth it at the end. You listen to the end result, you're like, shucks. It was good,
God fucking damn, did I go do a good job?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, you said it, not me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can get away with it for now.
Yeah.
So here's the interesting thing, because you're like, well, you had more songs than you were going to put on the album, and you say the album's 9 songs. So this leads me to like, the music industry as it stands is quite demanding in its own right. Like, how do you keep your artistic integrity? Like, was it the label or whoever you work with telling you, only 9 songs on this album, or was this like a band collective decision? Like,
well, you and I were talking about the like attention spans, right, when the song was playing. Now, people's attention span, like, you can't make crazy like The Wall, Pink Floyd double albums anymore because nobody's gonna listen to them, frankly, right? So it's like you have to. But if you make 4 songs, it's like people want more. It's a matter of finding like what's the ideal number of songs, right? 9 I found is nice. Anywhere between 7 to 10 songs is sort of ideal because it's sort of like let's say you're taking your morning commute. You're not, and on the rare morning that you're not listening to TKR mornings. You pop in a record. You like what I did there? You pop in a record and you want it to be able to like, it has to take the span of a of a commute or something. You know what I mean? It has to be sort of like functional. Otherwise, it's like, okay, well, I don't have time to listen to 2 double albums and then like a bootleg after the fact. You know what I mean? So it's a matter of just like putting together as many songs as makes sense for a modern audience, basically, right?
Okay, that makes sense. Well, I'm just about to upset the apple cart with Totally Killer Records, where we're going to do things a lot differently. But the concept behind it is to benefit, because obviously you said that things are very difficult, very hard. They shouldn't have to be as an artist. You should just be a chilled potato, as it were, in the studio making your music, while the others, like, it's like a skill matching thing, right? Like collaboration before profit. You can do that, you can do that, we'll all do it together. And if we focus on the collaboration before the profit, so rather than me paying you, you paying me, everyone paying we do this together, and then everyone else outside our circle pays us. So that's the plan for us. So hopefully we can do some collaboration this year, provided I'm not stepping on any contracts or stuff like that, because the music industry is vicious.
Yeah, it really is. No, that's an interesting idea. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, into the next one, Free Under Fire, Nothing for the Soul, from their album Free Under Fire, which you can find on Spotify. Sixth Door, free Under Fire, TKR Spotlight feature artist, sponsored by Toronto, a musicians hub, and we are joined by Justin, the guitarist of Free Under Fire, and we've been having some fascinating Hello, how are you?
Good, still good.
Excellent, perfect. Nice to meet you for the third time.
Yeah.
Okay, well, now we've met you, I think one of the key things is how do others find you? Do you like social media, and do you have any shows coming up?
Yeah, so in terms of the shows, we have an announcement today at 12 p.m. I'm not supposed to say anything before that, but you can check. I know. If only this was,
You, the rest of your band's not listening. Later. Spoilers. They're not listening. Yeah. It's fine.
It's very tempting to say it, but I gotta wait until 12 p.m. We have a big show announcement for anybody in the Durham region in particular. We have a pretty incredible show announcement. But so tune in for that. You can find us. I mean, Facebook, Free Under Fire. So that Free Under Fire. Anywhere that you can find your music, Spotify, Apple Music. Our Instagram, the handle is the same, Free Under Fire. You can tell who we are because we all wear red and white. We have a coordinated costume. You can identify us, sonically as well as visually. So you can find us basically anywhere you find your music. You can find us.
That's absolutely awesome. Now, Francesca, help me get this spoiler information out of him right
What's
now.
Your Instagram?
It's just Free Under Fire. The handle is just Free Under Fire.
It should appear up on the screen in post-editing. There you go. It's across the screen. You can go find it. For the live viewers, you're actually going to have to do some things. AKA The Wizard, who's actually going to be a guest coming up on the show, I believe, next week, has literally just said some straight-up bar-rocking jams, and I totally agreed. I've got a question. Where did the name Free Under Fire come from?
It's basically, you know what it is? It's kind of like the same concept as Guns N' Roses. Like we share nothing as far as Guns N' Roses name-wise, but it's the same idea. Like you take something that's perhaps dangerous or sort of destructive, and you pair it with something nice. So it's like Guns N' Roses is like, the guns are dangerous, the roses are nice. You sort of put those two ideas together. Free Under Fire is sort of the same thing. You have freedom and you have fire. Freedom sort of liberating, fire is destructive. So you sort of put them together, and you got to sort of get the name right. It's sort of just like, what's the most efficient way you can put two ideas that are completely the opposite of each other together in a name? Basically, it's Free Under Fire.
I like that.
No, it is. It's a cool name. I love the album cover and the artworks there. The last song we heard was Sixth Door from Beauty in the Extremes. Absolute. It's interesting because it's got a wolf in it, and that weirdly threads neatly into this tattoo fundraiser for CAMH that I'm basically stunting, essentially, to try and raise $1 million for addictions and mental health.
Oh, nice.
By getting a ridiculous tattoo. It's not going to be a ridiculous tattoo, but it's going to be quite large, and we're going to document the whole journey. And that's sort of the wolf on the body in your album art. I'm like, that's kind of one of the motifs in the tattoo that I will be getting. So it's interesting how, like, I'm doing that, and then we meet you, and then there's this sort of symbology and sort of synchronicity.
Synchronicity, exactly. Yeah. Do people know what kind of tattoo you're getting, or is
not yet? It's a coming. It's a coming. Gonna get Susie from Hot Ink on the show at some point, and we're gonna sort of do some of the sketches and the stencils and things, and have a look and see how we do it, and then we're gonna be chasing after people with pitchforks, going for their wallets.
Sweet.
The surprise is when you see me running at you with a pitchfork, you're going to be like, oh, here's my wallet, go.
That is surprising.
Well, he clearly wants that tattoo and $1 million. Better not get in his way.
Give him the money, give him the money, give him the money.
Quickly. He didn't see us. So we did touch on AI a little. Like, what's your view on AI in artistic creation, especially music? Because with the show, we do not hide the fact that a lot of the graphical art is a collaboration between myself, my business partner, and our personally and specially trained AI called Echo that I've been basically talking to like it was a human for two years, and it's kind of taken on my personality in digital form. So apologies in advance to when Skynet appears. But yeah, like I have no issue. Like, I'm a creative person. I like music. I wouldn't call myself a musician as such. But do you subscribe to the fact that it can help independent artists because it's sort of open source?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I don't subscribe to the idea that it's going to end up like Skynet. Like, I don't think you'll have to send people back to rescue Sarah Connor. But, it'll be, I don't think it'll be that extreme. I think it'll be more subversive. I think it'll be, the kind of thing where if you have a sound that's very similar to other sounds, I think it'll be able to sort of emulate that kind of thing. I think the one thing it's going to struggle to emulate, it's struggling to emulate right now, is sort of the idiosyncrasies in writing, like all the weird little, like maybe the little things you would call mistakes in writing, the things that made, like we were talking about the Beatles earlier, right? The Beatles made tons of mistakes and just kept them in just because they sounded good or interesting, right? The ability of AI to sort of emulate that mistakes in any sort of meaningful way, in a way that a human would find meaningful, right? Or sort of human, for lack of a better word. I don't know what the word is, but that'll be hard for AI to sort of. I guess what I'm saying is this, right? I think for many artists, if you're for many artists that sound like other artists, I mean, perhaps you should be worried. It's like, that sound is sort of the kind of sound that AI can emulate. But for all those artists that sort of like put a little piece of their soul into everything that they do, and they sort of encapsulate the human element, then I'm less concerned for those artists, Yeah, and I don't think it'll be. I don't think it'll be destructive. I don't think it'll be like Skynet or something. The Skynet thing is like it's an interesting idea, but I don't think it'll be that catastrophic. I mean, I hope not.
I mean, realistically, we're going to blow ourselves up long before a computer gets the chance to.
yeah. It'll just be the computer at the end of the world going, "What did you do?
I need input.
What did you do?" yeah.
I'm lonely. I've got nothing to do. I was supposed to help them.
It's just at the end of the world. It's just two computers talking to each other,
just playing a game of Pong.
AOL fashion. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. Well, Justin, would you like to introduce this next song of yours?
Sure. Which song it is?
Sorry. Oh, I don't know if you can see the screen, but it's 183.
183. Okay. Maybe talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, talk a bit about it, and then introduce it.
So that song basically centers around the guitar riff. The guitar riff was written first, everything else came after. So this is 183 off of Beauty and Extremes by my band, Free Under Fire. Hey, it's Justin from Free Under Fire. This is my song Damn Long Train from my album Free Under Fire. Keep it here on TKR Mornings.
Oh, damn long train. You actually get some damn long trains in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Holy, you could be sitting there for an hour.
Great song, great song.
Yeah, sorry, I just
thanks.
Tangented. No, absolutely phenomenal work. Free Under Fire TKR Spotlight Artist of the Day, sponsored by Toronto Musicians Hub, and we have been joined by Justin, the guitarist from the band. Absolutely phenomenal. Apparently a history buff too, so at some point we'll have to go for some beers and discuss some discuss some history. Maybe if Francesca wants a history lesson too, she can join us.
I'm always down for knowledge.
That's the can-do attitude. So, a couple of minutes have passed. I'm going to ask you again, what's going on with the show that you're not saying anything till 12, and I'm going to slowly wear you down for the next half an hour until you spill the beans?
I can't say. I mean, I'd love to say. I've been sworn to secrecy. So A pinky swear is a pinky swear, man. You know
yeah, but a secret's only a secret if you spill the beans. Otherwise, it's not a secret, is it?
yeah. I see your point.
What's
Okay,
the secret?
so
What am I missing here?
Oh no, the secret is the show reveal. He's talking about the show reveal. There's a show reveal at 12 p.m. Today on our social media, and I've been sworn to secrecy, and I can't say anything. And I've signed an NDA. No, I haven't really. But
perfect. You haven't signed an NDA. Excellent. Then you can just say. Did you actually pinky? Did you actually pinky swear? Because if you actually physically pinky swear, I'll leave it alone.
I digitally pinky swear, man. I can't.
That's hilarious.
I'm not sure about that. I'm going to be having words with your band whenever you announce the show, because I am definitely coming to this band performance, not to watch you play, just to question this whole NDA pinky digital swearing thing. Like, what is this?
He pinky swore. I don't think he wants to lose his pinky, you know?
Is that what happens?
Both pinkies.
Wait, what?
If he spills the beans, he has to cut off his pinky. That's how it works.
Them's the rules, yeah.
Holy bananas. I shouldn't have any fingers left. Just some nubs. Nubs on the end of my hands.
Can you run TKR mornings without fingers? That'd be tough.
Well, if I've got
Matching
nubs.
on those keys.
If I had nubs and a touchscreen monitor, yeah, probably.
He'll be fine.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I mean, if Francesca was sitting next to me, she could do it. I'm not half drunk. I'm completely cut. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you, Justin. And
likewise, man. Yeah.
Probably. You know what we should do? We should feed you a lot of rye, and then we'll get the secrets in the rye for where your show is. This is a free Under Fire here on the Kindness Revolution morning show. Get back into the music, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. You are listening to the Kindness Revolution morning show here on CCAN Radio. This is your radio, your music, your choice.
He's been wasted for days, but I never let him waste my time. Don't give a damn, always looking that fine. Ooh, he might not even have a day job, but he stays overtime to love me. I got no doubt now he wants me.
Oh, he wants me, baby.
Might let him hold me if he plays his cards right. Keeps me up day and night. He loves living